Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our NASCAR 25 career mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we take on one of my favorite races in the entirety of the sport. It's Chicago Street Course. Very excited for this one here this weekend. Can anybody beat Shane Van Gisbergen is the first question on hand as we head on to the racetrack for some practice here on Saturday afternoon. We are bringing some upgrades in the very near future as we actually were able to acquire a level 10 engine this weekend, but we don't have it on this car. We were able to get it though, and it's going to be on the car in a few races time. But for today, we have a level 7 body, and well, you see everything else right there on the right side of your screen. 5 chassis, 7 engine, 5 suspension. So a pair of 7s and a pair of 5s. As well, this weekend, one really exciting thing we got to do that was announced that we were going to be doing in the last episode, we also got to actually take part in NASCAR's demonstration of the electric car project that NASCAR has, and that was a lot of fun, as you can see us there over on the side of the screen as we got behind the wheel of that electric car and took it for a spin around the Chicago Street Course to kind of demonstrate to the fans and, you know, just kind of, you know, a cool little project from NASCAR. But obviously now focused in this Boost Energy number 85 here on the racetrack now, and was feeling interesting here in practice. I wasn't feeling incredible, but I wasn't feeling like we were terrible at the same time. It was really loose. The car was really loose on throttle. Obviously you can fix that by just not hitting the throttle very hard. So yeah, throttle control felt a little bit more prominent here in Chicago than it has at a lot of racetracks this season now as we exit the final turn and head down the front straightaway here, and I was ready to move on at this point into qualifying now, and Shane Van Gisbergen, go figure, he's at the top of the board here in practice now, as well up in the top 20 there, Carson Hocevar, and as well Ty Gibbs there in P10. Closest to SVG, Christopher Bell, William Byron, Briscoe, and Elliott all in the top 5. As now we head to the grid here on a little bit later Saturday afternoon, ready to put in a qualifying lap. You see immediately, I'm getting out of the way. I was trying to let traffic go, and then unfortunately on my flyer, well, we would run down these clowns right here. Riley Herbst and the 44 JJ Yaley. So you see my reaction. I had to let these guys go, and eventually we would get into some clear racetrack, and we would be able to set a lap. I actually came into the pits after that happened so I could get a new fresh set of Goodyear tires. So this is now my third lap, actually, my third time lap when I was finally getting a proper lap in, and we should not run down anybody here. And I was actually pretty happy, at least in the first bit of this lap, how it had gone so far, but we're only a few corners in. This is going to be a super physical race. This is going to be probably the most physicality you'll see all season. It is such a fun little street course to race on here with stock cars now, and you're really going to see the physicality break out here today as we come through the what I like to call the Arby's section of the racetrack. Now just 2 corners to go, make that 1 as we round the penultimate turn and head down towards the final 90-degree right-hander here. Break just after the paint on the road there now with the arrows, and we get through that final turn pretty well. Some oversteer on the exit, but to the line, up through the gears. We'll get the third, crossing the line, a 1:33.184, and that would put us in this group 14th of 20 with SVG being on the top. Obviously there is another group to go, so by the time everything was said and done, after the second group had gone, well, we would of course be a little ways down the order now. We were 28th, which is not too bad, but definitely expect better because we are expected to be strong at these road courses. And I mean, here in qualifying, not quite seeing it yet. Now of course our car is only level 7 and level 5, so it's not a surprise that we're a little bit off the pace, but obviously we are faster than we were in just last time out at a road course and Circuit of the Americas. SVG on pole over Christopher Bell as we come through to the grid here Sunday afternoon, getting ready to fire up these engines now and get out on the racetrack in the Boost Energy colors here on this Tricon Garage number 85 Toyota Camry as the gents will fly over the city here of Chicago and over the track. And now we focus in on the cockpit of this number 85, and we are ready to take the green flag here from the Chicago Street Course. 19 laps of racing. And here we go. Now, green flag is out from P28. Heading down into turn number 1, 5 laps of racing here in this first and opening stage now, as we're right on the back of the 38 of Zane Smith here. To my left side, you got Justin Haley now, as we're going to be side by side on the exit of turn 1 with the 43 of Eric Jones. Pretty calm start, but as we head down into turn 2, we're going to go for a lunge up the inside of this 38 right to the back of the 41 of Cole Custer. Now, can't quite get the run off the corner, so we don't really end up gaining anything at all. You do notice in the top left, actually, it says that it's in the second stage. That's a bug. I had to restart the race, and whenever I do that and I was like beyond stage 1, it'll like do that. It'll just say you're still in like stage 2 for whatever reason. Nonetheless, we are continuing on here to now try and stay ahead of this 43 of Eric Jones and the 47 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. And as we continue on down this short straightaway towards that left-hander, now Christopher Bell is actually the one out in front with the lead of this race now, as we are right there with Eric Jones. We'll clear him, and now we go up the elevation, back down the hill here into the heart of the city at this point now for this circuit, at least, as we are all piling in. Everyone's stacking up now, and a good shot to the back bumper of the 38 of Zane Smith. Now as we peek to the right side of Gilliland, we at least got up to 28th right there, so we got back up through, and now in front of the 7 of Justin Haley. We might have a chance to make a move right here to the penultimate corner. What a beautiful view of the city that we have there now, as we'll continue, door slamming into the side of that 34 with a beautiful flame, of course, design on it. And actually, the race where we don't have the Grillo's Pickles sponsorships, where the 34 does have the Grillo Pickles sponsorship, which is kind of funny how that kind of worked out now as we complete this first and opening lap. So a pretty successful first lap, I would say, is I actually get into the back of the 38 of Zane Smith right there on the exit of turn 1. He would actually drive away from me a little bit, so we are still struggling on the straightaways. We still don't have a very fast car down a straight line, and that's really what's hurting our chances here today in Chicago. And I had expectations by the time we came to Chicago we could manage a top 10 run, but the car, quite simply put, is still a little bit too slow. So a top 10 run is going to be it's going to be a lot of luck involved now, and I had really just settled in here at this point now in stage 1 now. Running P27, not really gaining anything on Zane Smith or anybody else here. So we go to 2 laps to go, and Christopher Bell continues to lead. We got some smoke up ahead into turn 1. Nemechek's going to pull right in front of us. He's gone around and turns right in front of us, and that completely destroys the front end of our number 85 car now, and we have got damage, and I'm turning in on him. We're making contact there. I wasn't very happy about that. Where's your spotter, buddy? Just sitting there stationary out of the groove, which was okay, but now look at the damage we got on the left side of the screen, all because John Hunter decided to spin himself back around to get going directly in front of myself, and immediately into a high-speed corner I just understeer into the wall, and that was a pretty big crack on the left front and the left side door. And now you can see I'm just staying out of the way. I don't want anything to do with being in the way of Eric Jones right now, but we're coming to the final lap of the stage, so we're just going to ride it out and try to survive here. We might be able to hold off Stenhouse as we come to the final lap at this point here in stage 1. Christopher Bell is already coming up on the penultimate turn, so I said, okay, let's just try to hold off Stenhouse now. No matter what, we're going to be going to the back because we've got such a significant repair to make now. And Christopher Bell wins stage 1 over Shane Van Gisbergen now, and I'm waiting for 10th place to cross the line for that caution to come out, and it'll be right here any second. And waiting, there it is. Caution is out. We end up in 30th position. Yeah, we're going to come into the pits, and we're going to get tires, we're going to get fuel, but most importantly, we are going to get some much-needed repairs on the car, which is going to be 11 seconds of repairs, sending us all the way to the back of the grid here for the second stage.
Pace cars off.
Obviously, not the situation we expected to be in, and actually I start right behind the 42 of John Hunter. I believe he actually had to make some repairs too. No surprise there. And as we go back green flag racing now, stage 2 is underway. Now we got one additional lap here in stage 2, 6 to be exact now, as we'll make a big lunge into turn 1. We're 3 wide with Barry and Yaley as well now, and just like that, we're back into the top 35. We'll be 2 wide with Barry. We're gonna have to follow in line here behind the 10 of Ty Dillon. I try to think it was outside right here on the exit of turn 2, though. Can't quite get the power down. And just don't have that straight line speed. So now as we go down the long bendy straightaway, I like to call it now, Josh Berry's going to get clear. Shane Van Gisbergen, by the way, back out in front now. Is do I dare go for a lunge up the inside here? No, I do not. I'm going to stay stationary behind this 21 now of Josh Berry. He leaves the door open right here, but we're not going to be able to get enough speed to actually carry it alongside him. Where the passing opportunity is on these restarts is turn 1 and 2, and then as we go into turn 6 here and as well turn 7, these are the real opportunities. So we're going to go for a big lunge up the inside of this Wood Brothers. Number 21 actually cracked the inside wall right there just a little bit now, and that kind of ruined my momentum. But right here, we're going to go for it. A lunge up the inside of the 21. They're 3 wide. That is not going to work. Huge collision right there. Cars in the wall. I'm going through 3 wide. We should not be 3 wide through here. We're still 3 wide. The 3 back set of a major contact with the 35 of Herbst. Now we're all scrapping it out. It is an all-time physical classic it's turning into here as we get into the front of the 3 of Austin Dillon and out to the back of the 35 of Herbst and into the back of him now. A little bit of a shot to the rear bumper, just trying to kind of free him up, get him out of the way. Didn't quite work, unfortunately. Now, and on the run into turn 1, lap 2 of the stage. Look at just the braking zone he was going for there. Herbst just checked up so early, and that's going to allow me to be in the preferred spot right here into turn 2. I'm going to kind of muscle him out a little bit and take the position. So up into P31 we go. Now we're going to try and go after Ricky Stenhouse Jr. And get ourselves back into the top 30 at this point. You got Noah Gregson as well, just in front of him. And overall, I mean, you could not have asked for a much better start here. And look at this. Again, big stack up, and we got such a run. I'm going for it. Up the inside of Stenhouse, close quarters. Used them up a little bit right there, and into P30 we go. At this point, you know, with some of the way that some of these races have played out lately, I don't mind getting a little bit too physical here at times. And yeah, I kind of just drove through Stenhouse on that one, to be completely honest. It worked, though. We're up into P30, and I don't know if we're going to get much further here in Stage 2. It's going to be hard to pass Noah Gregson and Justin Haley, but we're setting ourselves at least up for a better beginning to Stage 3 instead of like having to be shuffled to the back. But obviously we still got a few laps to go where things could change. Somebody could crash in front of us again, and you know, we won't be able to really maybe avoid it, because that's the way the Chicago street course is it's really hard to avoid accidents that are in front of you, because the track is narrow. That's how street course racing works for the most part. So yeah, they can be pretty chaotic. Now is hopefully we can avoid though another crash like what we had earlier with that 42 of John Hunter. Nemechek now is at this point now getting into a nice rhythm though in these final couple of laps of the stage. I was really happy with how the car was driving. It's still a bit on the loose side, but the weird thing is it's a bit on the loose side, but on the entrance and the center it's a little bit too tight. So yeah, I mean it's definitely kind of a bit of a both kind of situation going on with the handling of this number 85 Tricon Garage car here, as we are continuing to just kind of stay about a second behind the 4 of Noah Gregson, and that continues right here to 2 to go until I make a bit of a mistake right there. Slide on the exit of the right-hander, and Stenhouse is going to pounce on that, and so is Riley Herbst. Now a mistake from myself now, and we're going to give up 2 positions in the process. Now we got to try and get at least one of them back now, and I really don't want to get beat by Riley Herbst here. We got a lap and a half to get back in front, and we could maybe even go for a lunge like right here. Do I dare? I didn't feel quite the confidence. That was, you know, at this point more like, okay, I'm starting to struggle, but hold on. We get a nice run, but I didn't feel like I was close enough to go for a move like we did in the same spot on Stenhouse earlier. Sliding all over the place here in this number 85 now, and now it's kind of like, yeah, turning into a bit more of a survival. Let's just make it to the end and set ourselves up for the 3rd stage, and hopefully we can go get like a top 25 or so, I think is possible. We're just slowly kind of working our way forward. The restart's going to be really important in Stage 3 as we come to the final lap here. In Stage 2, Shane Van Gisbergen qualified on pole, lost Stage 1 to Christopher Bell, but it looks like it's going to swing back in his favor here as Shane Van Gisbergen would win stage number 2. Now we just wait for 10th place to come across the stripe here, and that will of course put stage 2 to an end, as Riley Herbst there is going to stay in front of us quite comfortably at this point now, as we end up in 32nd place. So once again, I mean, we did a really good job there, kind of working our way back forward.
Pit road is open.
We did get damage, of course, or not damage, but we made a mistake and got ourselves in trouble there and gave up a few spots. We're going to take 4 tires again, and as well, we are going to take some fuel. This time, no repairs needed, and we'll get ready for this third and final stage here from a pretty decent P32 spot here as we get ready to go green. You got Ricky Sinnos Jr. right in front of us now. To my left, it's Riley Herbst. Here we go. The third and final stage is underway here from Chicago Street Course. Now behind us, you got Austin Dillon. To my left, his brother Ty. Into turn number 1 we go, and William Byron takes the lead from Van Gisbergen. We're stacking up massively here into turn 1, and I think we're about to see a lot of physicality here in what could be the final restart. Big checkups allow me to dive up the inside. We're going to get all the way into the top 30 alongside the 34 of Gilliland, who we were battling with earlier in this race. Now he's going to clear us. We were 3 wide briefly with him and Haley. Now we're 3 wide again as we go through the bend. Now Gregson and Herbst as well, and who's going to back out of it? It's not going to be me. I'm going to send it into this little right kink, into the barrier even. We caught the barrier on the left side, just trying to make sure we got ahead of those guys. And now Gregson was able to cross us over through that whole ordeal, and now he's going for a 29th place now as we are absolutely scrapping it out. This has not been the road course race we wanted. We expect it to be better, but obviously we just don't have the speed now, but we are absolutely just scrapping it out now as Gregson's to my right, but I'm going for it. We're going to go 3 wide up the inside into the back of the 41, kind of knocked him out of the way, and it worked. I mean, we got him over to the left side, and now we'll pass the 7, we'll pass the 34 in, we'll use up that 41. And just like that, we're up into P26. How about it now? A top 25 would be a huge success. Can we go get another car? Zane Smith up the inside of Denny Hamlin. Of course, we looked at the bracket challenge at the beginning of the episode. This is the $1 million race. Whoever finishes better between Denny Hamlin or Tyler Reddick today win $1 million in this in-season tournament. And Denny Hamlin's only running 25th. Tyler Reddick's well up the road right now. So it looks like Tyler Reddick is about to win the $1 million of this first ever NASCAR in-season bracket tournament that should return next season as well. Of course, we were out pretty early in the bracket challenge. We were out after just the second round, unfortunately, now, as we are just kind of following that number 11 of Denny Hamlin. Only 19 laps of racing total in this race, which means, I mean, we are well under 10 laps to go in the Chicago Street Course at this point now as we exit the final turn. Nearly caught the outside wall right there as William Byron continues to lead. Car around in a really awkward spot. That's Zane Smith who's gone for a crash. He gets it collected and going back straight is only going to give up a couple of spots, and that puts us into the top 25. Thank goodness we were able to avoid that. Thank you very much, Zane Smith, who's apparently still got some speed. He's right here behind me alongside the 41 of Cole Custer, and now as they battle it out, that's my opportunity to try and stretch out a gap on these guys a little bit now. I might not be able to pull away far, but hopefully we can get a little ways up the road compared to those guys now. But Cole Custer is right behind us now. He actually really checked up right there, so that does allow me to kind of pull a bit of a gap on him. So now it's just about trying to see if we can maybe, kind of maintain pace with the progressive number 11. I don't think it's going to be possible, but I think we're going to need more chaos at this point if we're going to gain any more track position. I think we're more in defense than we are in offense now as we come through to just 5 laps to go in this race here from the Chicago Street Course. It's been one heck of a race, and it just became a worse race for Eric Jones. He's looped it around on the exit of turn 1 and into turn 2. Thank you very much. That's another position. We gained 2 spots here in just the last couple of laps due to drivers going for a crash now, and into P24 we go, and Jones has gotten it back up to speed very quickly, and I throw a bit of a block on him here, and now he's going to be side by side with Cole Custer now, and we'll settle in here to P24 at this point. Coming up with the final 4 laps of this race now, lap 16 of 19, and William Byron is still in control. It's looking like Shane Van Gisbergen might not quite pull off the victory here today in the streets of Chicago now, as Jones is right to my back bumpers. I nearly catch the left side wall right there now as we continue on in these closing laps now. It's a lap 17 of 19, and you can see the tire warning's on, the fuel warning is on. We are close on everything, fuel and tires. I can confirm though we have just enough fuel to make it to the end of the race. It's really tight, but we can make it, so I wasn't too worried, and we cut straight through to the final lap at this point now, and William Byron's been in control since the green flag waved for the start of the third and final stage, and he's got just a couple of corners to go. At this point, Eric Jones had dropped back, and Zane Smith had actually gotten up to me here, so I knew I just had to hold him off. Look at my tires. 8% on the left rear, 12% on the right rear. But on the track map, you see it, Byron down the front straightaway. William Byron's going to take victory in the Chicago Street Course. How about it? And now we just have to try and defend over Zane Smith here for a few more corners. He gets a poor exit. That's going to put us in a really good spot here as we come up on the end of this race. What a race it was here. Unbelievably physical on the restarts and drivers making errors, going around for some spins here. It was a crazy race from start to finish, and now as we round the penultimate turn, we're comfortably ahead of Zane Smith, and we can settle in for P24 now as we round the final turn here under the Cheesesteak Bridge. Coming to the checkered, we'll take P24 here in Chicago. Wow, I mean, I would have loved to have run better, and I expected to, but just the car just wasn't quite fast enough as Byron holds off Van Gisberg and Briscoe, Bell and Reddick in 5th. Tyler Reddick finishes 5th to Denny Hamlin, who wasn't even in the top 20. He was 23rd, meaning Tyler Reddick wins the inaugural bracket challenge in-season tournament. He just became $1 million richer, so congratulations to Tyler Reddick and that number 45 team. Denny Hamlin kind of won in a way. Of course, he owns that 45 car, as you see the rest of your finishing order on your screen. We made $96,000 profit for the team, and unfortunately, we cannot look at the points because guess what? We have a turning point for the first time in a while with the Dale Jr. download. Of course, I'm not going to show it this episode. I'm going to make you guys wait till the beginning of the next one. For Sonoma, another road course where I'm hopeful we can be even more competitive, and maybe we'll bring some more upgrades on top of that. I'll see you guys then. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.